A dog with no name, a man with no way out, one trapped in a cold basement, tied and blindfolded, the other astray with broken paws and a memory of love long, Bury had no badge. No partner, no command, just instinct, and when everyone else gave up on Deputy Cole Harris, a forgotten German shepherd did not. He heard the silence, saw through the dark, and what he did next might restore your faith in loyalty and second chances. If you believe no hero should ever be abandoned, man or dog, stick with me, because what happened in Red Hollow, Montana, still gives me chills. The night before, the snow had fallen heavy, swallowing the edges of our little town under a thick white silence. The air snapped with cold, the kind that bites your skin and makes even the wind too tired to howl. Out at the northern fringe of town, past the old tracks and the sagging fence of what used to be a logging yard, stood this crumbling warehouse, 3 stories, red brick flaking, most windows smashed or boarded over, the whole place screaming, "Keep out." But through that ghostly yard limped a German shepherd, ribs sharp beneath a patchy coat, moving like he had a reason, though nobody'd called him anything in a year. His name used to be Ranger, back when he had a collar and someone to answer to. Ranger had once been top of his class, a real search and rescue dog, trained to find lost hikers, survivors, the whole deal. His fur was black and tan, his right ear notched from a rock fall during a drill, but what broke him wasn't work or battle. It was loss. His partner, Officer Sarah Grady, died in an apartment fire, a tragedy that left him howling for days, refusing to eat, until one night he just slipped away, vanished into the pines, and became another shadow haunting the outskirts. But that morning, Ranger caught something in the window, whimper, soft, desperate, human. He crept up to the warehouse, nose twitching at the blood, sweat, and fear leaking through the cracks. Inside, a man sat tied to a chair, head drooped, blindfolded, wrists raw. His badge was gone, but his shirt was the kind cops wear. Ranger knew that scent. It was pain, yes, but it was strength too, something that reminded him of Sarah. Inside the basement, Cole Harris was barely hanging on, 30, lean, beard grown wild, hair matted, every inch of him hurt and cold. He'd been missing 3 days. Folks had plastered his picture everywhere, but none of that mattered in the dark. What mattered was the sound at the window. Ranger scratched at the glass, his breath fogging it up. Cole, half dreaming, heard the growl, "Dog? Is that a dog?" And just like that, Ranger remembered. He wasn't astray anymore. This was a mission. The window wouldn't budge, the walls too thick, but Ranger memorized the placebo be back. Inside, Cole tensed. Shadows moved above, footsteps echoing. Someone was coming. Ranger melted away into the snow. Meanwhile, over on Main Street, Lisa Bennett stepped out of the animal clinic, dish of kibble in one hand, thermos in the other. She was young, smart, tough, the kind of vet who'd fix up any stray, no questions asked. She left breakfast behind the building, whistled, "Come on, soldier," and to her shock, the big shepherd limped up, dropping something at her feet, a muddy, blood-stained police boot. She picked it up, recognized a Red Hollow badge patch, and her heart nearly stopped. She called the cops. Sheriff Briggs, a legend in Red Hollow with a face like worn leather and eyes that missed nothing, arrived soon after. He took one look at the boot, then at Lisa. "Dog brought this." She nodded. Scarred ear, limp, looked on a mission. Briggs grunted. "That dog wants us to follow." By afternoon, the station's back office was buzzing. Officer Dean Stokes jabbed a finger at the warehouse compound on the map. That's the only place it could be. Sergeant Claire Durham, all angles and focus, flipped through files. If someone took Cole, that's where they're holding him. The dog led west, straight toward it. Briggs decided. At dawn, they'd move quiet. No sirens, just a team, hoping for a miracle. That night, Lisa set out stew and a glove, her only thanks for the dog who'd brought hope. In the warehouse, Cole shivered, counting the hours by footsteps and muttered threats. His captor, Ray Morton, a man who'd let life chew him up and spit him out, shuffled in to rant about justice, about how men like Cole forget the quiet ones. But Ranger was there watching, waiting, biding his time. Elsewhere, Claire and rookie tech Matt Reyes pored over surveillance. "That's the shepherd again," Reyes said, showing footage of Ranger carrying the bloody boot earlier than Lisa's report. They dug deeper. Records showed Ranger had been Sarah Grady's K-9 partner. If that's him, he didn't forget how to save people, Claire muttered. Briggs ordered a drone unit, eyes on that dog. The next morning, the snow had let up just enough for the rescue team to move in. Down in the basement, Cole's world was a tunnel of pain and hope. Ranger worked the ropes, gnawing until Cole could see again. The dog sat by his side, guarding him silent, determined. When Ray returned, wild-eyed and desperate, things exploded. Ray tried to drag Cole, but Ranger launched himself sharp, controlled, a soldier doing his job. They crashed, the box cutter skittered away. Police stormed in, shouted orders, guns raised, freeze. In the chaos, Ranger stood over Ray, protecting Cole, until it was over. Hospital lights hummed, antiseptic stung the air. Cole woke to find himself alive, bruised, sore but alive. Sheriff Briggs and Sergeant Durham filled him in. Ray was in custody, but he wasn't working alone. There'd been talk of a man in a white van, missing children, and something much bigger. Cole asked after Ranger. Gone, Briggs said, slipped away before they could thank him, as if knowing his job was done. Lisa grieved for the shepherd. She called Ranger, scrubbing the blood from his pad, remembering how he'd watched her, not begging, but understanding. Her neighbor Danny stopped by with tea, trying to comfort her. He's out there, Lisa insisted. He's not just a dozer Ranger. Interrogations revealed the worst Ray was a pawn in a bigger, darker game. The van had been seen near an abandoned scout camp. FBI agent Hanley coordinated with the local team. Surveillance, thermal scans, everything pointed to a planned exchange. This time, Ranger was ready. At dawn, Ranger led the tactical team through the woods, nose to the ground, Cole by his side. They found the van, watched two masked men step out, and when Ranger barked, the team moved in. Gunmen dropped fast, and in the back of the van, two children, zip-tied and terrified. Ranger climbed in, let the boy bury his face in his fur, and for a moment, every scar and hurt the shepherd carried seemed to melt away. The story broke nationwide. Footage of Ranger leading those kids out played on every channel. Back in Red Hollow, the town gathered to honor him. No medals, just a collar tag. Ranger, Red Hollow Sentinel. Cole, back on his feet, knelt and buckled it on, asking, "Do you accept the call to serve again?" Ranger barked once, clear and proud, and the crowd erupted in applause. Lisa watched through tears. "That's my boy," she whispered. In the weeks after, Ranger walked every beat with Cole, wore his vest again, and became the face of Lisa's Second Chance project, training strays for service, showing the town what redemption looked like for paws at a time. You know, sometimes God doesn't send angels with wings. He sends them with fur and a heart that refuses to quit. Ranger's journey reminds us that even the most broken can be called to save, and in saving, be healed themselves. If this story touched you, if you believe that every soul, human or animal, deserves a second chance, tell me what you do for loyalty like that. Where does justice begin, and who gets to decide who's worth saving? Leave your thoughts below and share this with someone who needs a little hope. Because sometimes the greatest miracles walk on four legs, and all they need is for someone to believe in them.